My alopecia had a profound impact on my life and the way people treated me because of the way I looked. When I got to middle school, I would intentionally take an indirect path to go to classes so I didn't have to come in contact with people. And there was a resource officer that was there. He kind of took a notice to what I was doing and kind of befriended me a little bit. And I saw the role that he was taking. And it wasn't a, I'm here to take people to jail. It was, he was taking a role of, I'm here to take care of the kids at the school. And I saw a different side of what law enforcement could also be. He probably never knew how important that was to me. Law enforcement was always kind of in the back of my mind. I started attending the night academy while working at Florida State and got a job with a small agency and kicked off my career, and I was hooked from that point on. I knew I wanted to be a canine deputy.
Such a good book. That's so cool.
When I was young, we always had dogs. We had a big Labrador that I would always sleep on even though I was allergic and I would sneeze all the time. But I absolutely loved dogs. If I was going to be a law enforcement officer, I wanted a dog. Being allergic didn't really factor in my mind. I didn't really care. I knew I could go get allergy shots, but it just was a passion I had and finally was able to fulfill, and I still love doing it to this day.
So I joined the sheriff's office out of a sense of wanting to give back to the community, and I certainly owe them more than they could ever owe me, so K-9 was just the next step in that. And when I became a police officer in 2015 and moved from the jail, I always knew that I wanted to do K-9. I saw several situations out on the street that I thought that I could have solved if I would have been in the K-9 unit. And Clark County's got a rich history of K-9, but at the time we were kind of in a transition phase. So I was asking to be a part of it and got lucky. Jago's a rescue dog that we've turned into a patrol dog. We found him by pure happenstance. Well, Jago was bred with all the right bloodlines, and just out of a series of unfortunate events, he wound up in a rescue. The owner had health issues, put him with a person that was training police dogs to donate to departments with budget issues, and that operation kind of got shut down, so he wound up in the person's rescue. And as soon as we found out about him, we drove 5 hours in the middle of the night to Greenville, Tennessee from Jeffersonville, Indiana to go pick him up. And we happened upon the right dog at the right time, and I couldn't imagine being with anybody else, and he's been the best partner I could ask for.
I've been a sheriff's deputy for over 16 years now, and I've been a canine handler for a little over 3. I went to work at the sheriff's office, and really and truly, I didn't go out looking for law enforcement. Law enforcement found me. I've been in construction my whole life. I've came from a construction background, and while I was actually doing a job with a friend of mine, I was actually hanging vinyl siding at the time, and a buddy of mine who was actually working at the sheriff's office at the time, he called me and said, we're hiring some folks at the sheriff's office. Would you be interested in coming to work for us? And I told him, sure, and so I put in an application, and the hiring process went pretty smooth. And then I got hired on, and of course I became a jailer. Anytime anybody gets hired with us, you have to do your time as a jailer for a while before you can go out on the road or make any advancements within the department, whether it be the drug unit or general detectives or whatever. So most of all my time, I did about 8 months in the jail, and then I came out to patrol, and I've done all my time on patrol up until about 3 years ago when I got the spot as the new canine handler for the county. I'm the first canine handler in almost 20 years that we've had at Whitfield County Sheriff's Office, and when I applied for the job and I got it, my major looked at me and told me, he said, son, you'll make or break this program. And he said, I know that's a lot of pressure, but you'll make or break it. So I set the bar high. I set the bar really high. So I really had no choice but to make this succeed. I am currently the only canine handler with a dog in the whole entire county. It's just me and Eddie.
I've been a sheriff's deputy for 6 years now. I got into law enforcement because of family, essentially. Growing up, my uncle was a canine handler for the Modesto Police Department. Seeing him with his dog and being able to take his best friend to work every day really sparked my interest of wanting to become a police officer, and then eventually a canine handler, which had never really faded as I got older, and then once I was out of school, it just fell into place. I've been in our canine unit for 5 years now. A year of it was as an agitator, which is the guy at the training who puts the bite suit on and takes all the bites from the canines. And then essentially, it's not a promotion, but I was selected as a canine handler. It was probably the coolest job we have at the department.